Good evening, parents, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Watchdog Report. So, tonight we're going to continue with the conversation that we had last week, and this is the second part of our open statement to Todd Stoltz. And please be informed that as we get these reports, okay, we will continue to add on to our statement to Todd Stoltz. It will be very interesting to see how many episodes of this we will have, right? Okay, so just to fill in the parents that have not followed last week's video, Todd Stoltz, the superintendent of the West Shore School District, has for years now been denying the fact that there is bullying in our schools, bullying, violence, and drugs. And he keeps saying it doesn't happen in the West Shore. So why would he say that, you ask? Well, very simple. He's trying to keep a unblemished image of the West Shore School District as a school of scholastic excellence, a district of scholastic excellence when it is not. Now, that being stated, we also have many parents pulling their kids out of the schools and going to cyber schools. So you will hear him, you will hear Adam Trong, you will hear Al Cambic, you will hear Tierney, and you'll also hear this new candidate that's trying to run in Region 2, Terry Mickle. Okay, also parrot the words of these people against cyber schools and against the parents that put their children in cyber schools. But nobody really has been able to answer the question as to why are the parents of the West Shore School District discharging the kids or removing the kids from the public school system and putting them in cyber school or private school. You have not heard a reply, have you? Crickets. But they love to parrot that. So this is part two. Why are the parents of the West Shore School District putting their children in cyber school and in alternate school? Very simple. The bullying, the violence, the drugs, and they have stopped teaching classical education. They have stopped teaching regular materials, reading, writing, math, and science, and brought in pronouns. That's why. Okay, our children are not learning a daggone thing. And to top it off, they have to deal with the bullying. So, in the famous words of Todd Stoltz, there is no violence and no bullying going on in the West Shore School District. That is all an invention of Mrs. Reed. Okay, so the proof is in the pudding. Oh, in this case, the proof is in the taco, isn't it, Stoltz? So let's take a look. And thank you to the parents who have been sending me these clips, okay, informing me of what's really happened. Because this is the only way we're going to be able to get the truth about the ineffectiveness of this superintendent and the ineffectiveness of this administration, including some of the teachers that have turned a blind eye to the situation. So let's begin. And I will read this verbatim as the parents have stated. If they use a cuss word, I will bleep, okay? Here we go. So this parent comes out and says bullying is not just bad at this school. Now she's talking about Fairview and Old Trail. These are the schools we're addressing tonight. Bullying is not just bad at this school. It's bad throughout the entire district. Bullies get protected nowadays, which blow my minds. Here's another parent. The teachers and staff have even become bullies. Yes, they have. Here's another parent. You're absolutely right. My son experienced this last year in 7th grade with one of his teachers. She would deliberately single him out and embarrass him in front of the entire class. And she was so unprofessional and cocky during the parent teachers conference. What a bleep human being. So here we're touching two things, okay? That the district, by the parents' own admission, this is the parents' own admission, does have a bullying and violence situation. And this includes some of the staff members. And I can attest to that myself. These staff members will talk down to these children, talk down about their parents, and nothing is done. Let's continue. Slide number 2. Yes, My daughter experiences this with one of her teachers at Old Trail as well. Unacceptable. Another parent, West Shore School District has become so sports oriented. If your child isn't into sports, they become just a number amongst the crowd, and that is correct. Everything is sports, 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 and the education side of it, okay, is being ignored. Everything is LGBTQ 1, 2, 3, ABC, and 1, 2, 3, and they are ignoring the education and the children that need help. Let's continue. I know a few people whose children struggle socially or academically, and the teachers act like they're a paying to have in class. Teachers have become clicky with students, and that is correct also. Slide number 3. Another parent. This happened with my son as well. Meeting after meeting, promise after promise to work with him and provide resources for his ADHD, as well as grief support from losing his uncle, but nothing, just write up after write up and detention after detention. A teacher told him last year that he was going to end him, and nothing was done. This is, if this really happened, that a teacher used those words with a student, that teacher should have been fired or put on probation. But it doesn't surprise me because we've had issues with Granger yelling at parents, kicking parents out of the office, not listening to when children are reporting, violence, telling the children that they're making it up. So this does not really surprise me at all. Let's continue. It's been this way since the mid 90s, and no one cares to do anything about it. It's so sad to see this issue, knowing that other kids feel the way I felt. Another parent. A kid threatened to stab, and let's just call him L because she used the name of the child, so I'm not exposing the name of the child. A kid threatened to stab L. The kid didn't get suspended. He went as far as to say that he had a knife in his backpack. And he was still elected to student council the same week. Literally not a single punishment. I know bullying is bad in the whole district, but with these new schools, it's almost like they're more concerned with not having a bad reputation than protecting the kids. Bingo bango, there you have it. This parent said it excellently. These schools, one is the principal is Granger and the vice principal is Geiswhite. That school is a mess. And when Granger was in Allen, that school was a mess. So why is it? Are you guys seeing a trend here that wherever Granger winds up, the school is a mess, and we have bullying that goes on rain. And as we spoke last week, Mrs. Geiswhite, oh excuse me, Dr. Geiswhite. Well, Mrs. Geiswhite accused a child of being a racist last week without investigating. Okay, and thank God for the mother that spoke up and put her in her place. But this parent is totally correct. They're more concerned about their reputation than the children. And that's the truth of the matter. Another parent. These new intermediate schools are so bad, I had to pull my son out with 2 months left. He refuses to go back until he's out of that building. And this is what's happening, guys. The bullying has gotten so bad that the children themselves do not want to go back to West Shore School District schools because administration and their administrator are doing nothing to protect these children. Not a thing. So the parents wind up pulling them. They wind up in cyber school. They wind up in, private school. But there is no violence and bullying going on in the West Shore School District. Cyber school is stealing our children. No, the cyber school system is not stealing our children. The cyber school system is accepting the children that you guys are tossing out by your ineffectiveness, and they deserve every cent that they get to work and educate our kids. So, bravo to this parent who pulled the child out because at the end of the day, it's not about nobody's ego. It's not about their reputation, not about any of that. It's about our children being protected and educated. And while we're working out there 8 hours a day to pay this taco eating dragon superintendent that we have his $200,000 a year, the very least that he can do is offer protection to our children and deal with this bullying and violence in the school. Do you not think? Well, let's continue. My son has been extremely bullied at Old Trail Intermediate School, resulting in police reports. Resulting in police reports, moved classes, etc. If this is what you mean, let me know. Another parent. My daughter was at Fairview and we pulled her in November. The administration at that school shoves everything under the rug. Most definitely. That is what Granger is good for. I think that instead of hiring him as a principal, they should have hired him as a janitor. But guess what? Even as a janitor, he would have failed because you can only put trash under the rug for so long before it becomes lumpy, bumpy, and mumpy. That's what we have. A lumpy, mumpy mess. Let's continue. Another parent. It's the entire district, and it has been for 20 years. Their zero tolerance policy is just written words, and no one follows it. I didn't see it, so it didn't happen. That's their policy. I didn't see it, so it did not happen. That is their policy. This parent quoted that correctly. And that is the policy of the West Shore School District. If I didn't see it, it didn't happen. What bullying? What violence? There is no bullying nor violence in the West Shore School District. And let's go into our last slide here. My family has been placed in a situation regarding Old Trail Intermediate that I feel that I may advocate for parents along with protecting their kids. If your family has been put into a situation with the school, please private message me so that I can take your information to put this plan together. Thank you. So it seems as though one of the parents in our community is proactively looking to do something to help these children, and that's fantastic. That is great because you know what? Todd Stoltz is not going to do a daggone thing. He hasn't up to this point. They haven't put his feet to the fire. There's been no repercussions for his ineffectiveness. So why would he do anything? Why would he care? I didn't see it. It didn't happen. And it's a shame. But parents, I would strongly encourage you that if your child is going through this, show up to the school board meetings because sometimes the school board directors, more often than not, are not aware of anything because this superintendent and his administration. They shove it down under the rug. They sweep it under the rug. They don't inform, the school board of what's happening. These kids that deserve to be suspended are not suspended. And he tries to stop, actually, not that he tries to stop, he stops the school board members from interfering if a parent reach out to a school board member, and that's no longer acceptable either. We need, as parents, to request that policy is in place that if a parent has to speak to a school board member, that they are able to approach that school board member, that school board member is able to assist them, even if that means that they have to excuse themselves from being part of the judge and jury if they're looking to suspend the child. This by no means is acceptable because by tying the hands of the school board members, this administrator and his administration are getting away with things that they should not be getting away with. So, guys, you know that we have a election coming, okay? And part of resolving these issues with the West Shore School District is putting the correct people in office. So, I am going to encourage you to vote for in Region 2, the parents in Region 2. Please re-elect Mrs. Kelly Brandt. She is truly the conservative, okay? She is truly a Republican. She is not one of these bipartisan people trying to make you believe that they're conservative and Republican when they're not. She is looking to protect our women, our girls in women's sports by, excluding the boys from women's sports. They are currently working on that policy. We're getting a lot of pushback from Todd Stoltz. who is stating that although he know that it's an executive order in place, but the executive order is not law, and he is correct. The executive order is not law, but that executive order is tied to federal funding, and if that does not come to fruition, there goes your federal funding. So that shows you again that his agenda, it's because he is, I've always said it, he's not a superintendent, guys. He really isn't. He is an advocate on the wrong side. So his agenda is more important than the education, the safety, and now the financial wellness of this district. So we need people like Kelly Brent, who has bravely faced the cancel culture to protect our children. Okay. We need her, protecting the voice of the parents. She's working towards repairing the natatorium that you guys know for years that natatorium has been in disrepair. I've been in meetings when parents are crying or were crying about the natatorium needing to be repaired. And we had Abigail Cherney seated in that facilities meeting. We had Brian Geiswhite as the president and did absolutely nothing to start the process of repairing this natatorium. And she has started the process to repairing the natatorium. Okay, she's looking to cut needless spending in the West Shore School District. She's for parent choice. She supports parental rights. She's supporting the Red Land Project. She's doing everything that we, the parents, have been crying about, okay, for a while and getting it into place. So I'm going to highly encourage you in Region 2 to vote for Mrs. Kelly Brent. The one that is her opponent is Terry Mickle, and Terry Mickle is the wrong candidate for Region 3, and she is the wrong candidate for the district in its entirety. Um, Voting for Terry Mickle is going to put this district in a bigger pickle than we already are. Okay. Terry Mickle, she supports all the LGBTQ agendas, and I've seen her do it because I've been in the meetings alongside her. Okay. She supports men and women's sports. She supports transgenders in the bathroom. So it doesn't matter to her, if a man goes into the bathroom with your daughter, okay, it's all about the agenda. She's against parental choice and she's against parental rights. She supports the critical race theory. She supports pornographic novels in our schools and library. She supports diversity, equity, and inclusion. She supports social emotional learning. She supports mental health evaluations of your child without the parental consent. She supports frivolous spending. She supports higher taxes. She supports all woke agenda in its entirety. Anything that you can think of that's wrong, she supports it. She is running bipartisan to hide the fact that she is not a conservative nor a Republican. So please do not be deceived. Do we really need another woke advocate in the West Shore School District? Don't we have enough with the superintendent? Don't we have enough with Abigail Cherney? Don't we have enough with Trong and Cambic? So do we need another woke advocate? No, we need an advocate that is going to protect, we need an advocate that's going to protect parental rights and protect our kids and protect our girls. That's what we are in need of, not more mess. So remember, guys, that if you vote for Terry Mickle, you're going to put this district back in a pickle, in a bigger pickle than what we are right now. This is the wrong candidate, okay, for not only Region 2, but the West Shore School District in its entirety. Now, in Region 3, we have the ones that are running at the moment. We have old Lemonhead himself, Brian Geiswhite. Okay, so why do we call him a lemonhead? Because ever since he lost the presidency and the board was flipped over, he sat there like a lemonhead. Didn't show up to more than half of these meetings. Okay, when he shows up, he looks like the picture right here. And he has been now in February, he was heard saying that the parents cannot have the last word. He's actually trying to push, okay, for a clause when you go to speak in the district meetings. He wants the parents not to have the last word after the parents speak and express their concerns because there's so many things now that it's on open record. All their dirty stuff, all their dirty laundry is now in open record. He wants the let's say the liberal board to correct whatever they feel that was wrong. No, he wants to help hide their tracks even further. And that's the reality. And we know that his wife is the assistant principal in Fairview, and we already see that she is a mess. The children do not like her. She walks around with a chip on her shoulder. She doesn't investigate before she's accused, and she has been accused many times by the children of being a bully. So, is this the people that we need in our district? Absolutely not. In the years that Guy White was president of the school board, he was a bully. He was a tyrant. He would yell at parents, and he would have the conservative voice, and the conservative parents escorted out of his meeting. Let me help you understand, guys. These school board meetings, it's not their meeting. It's not. It's the people's meeting. And we have rights, okay? We have inherent rights to address our elective servants, because that's what they are, servants, our elected servants, address, and not only that, but pull them out if we have to. Okay, so Geist White is not the way to go for Region 3. Okay, who do I suggest for Region 3? I suggest Mrs. Sandra Gonzalez. Okay, now Sandra is very vocal, and we all know that. Okay, but however, listen to her. A lot of the stuff that she's saying, she's right on target. She's right on target. Now, Sandra is for fiscal responsibility, unlike Geist White, that got us into a 10-year debt for 10 years. They're breaking the back of the residents of Cumberland County on taxes, because that was Guy White's brainchild. And when Sandra found out, she was righteously indignant, as she should be. So she is for fiscal responsibility. She is for transparency, not only within the board, but within administration, because administration has been hiding a lot of things from the boards and the parents, like the bullying and the violence, for instance. Okay. She promotes age appropriate books. She's against men and women's sports. She's against men and women's bathroom. She's for parental rights. She's for parental choice. And she will help bring back scholastic excellence to the West Shore School District. And she is working on protecting our inherent rights as parents. She will be a voice for the parents. Now, I know a lot of people don't like her because she calls it out as she sees it. But if we have to make a choice between old Lemonhead, that's going to silence you, and bring, between him and his wife, bring more of this pornographic material into the school, okay, and allow this administration to get away with what they've been getting away with, the better candidate is Mrs. Sandra Gonzalez. So that being stated, guys, I will encourage you to come out to the school board meetings. If your child is being bullied in the schools, come out to the school board meetings and let the school board members know. You can find the dates, okay, of the meetings on the West Shore School District site, okay, and they're always posted there. And the address and hours are also posted there. So I will encourage you to come out. Keep in mind, I am encouraging everybody to come out on April 10th. Because as you know, if you have been following the meetings at all, we are dealing with the President Trump Executive Order 14201, men and trans women in women's sports. Okay, so the executive order is pretty much saying that if you're a man or you identify as a woman and you're a man, you are not to play in women's sports. You're not allowed to play in women's sports. PIAA also backs that up. Okay, and this is why Title IX was really written, to protect women and women's rights and women's sports. However, we are currently having pushback from Abigail Tierney and the dragon himself, Todd Stoltz. According to Todd Stoltz, executive orders is not law, and he is correct. It's not, but it is a mandate, and it is tied up with federal funding, and we will lose that federal funding if he wants to play cute and say that he doesn't want to implement such an order. So, guys, keep an eye on the April 10th meeting, because if we have to report this man all the way up to the White House, so be it. Then that's what we need to do. And please keep a eye on Jezebel herself. Jezebel, and that will be Abigail Tierney, is trying to state, and so is Stoltz and Cambic. They're trying to state that gender is not defined at birth. They're also saying that gender is not defined by your birth certificate. Huh. And he wants to see documents, evidence, okay, a documented evidence of why proves a woman to be a woman. According to him, there's no documented evidence of what a woman is. So my advice to both Jezebel and Todd Stoltz this weekend, when you go and take a shower to get ready for work on Monday morning, look down. That is what defines if you're a woman or a man. Simply put, look down. Okay. So parents, I do encourage you to come out April 10th and back up our board. Okay. Um, should we lose federal funding in the debt that we are because these two people cannot define what a woman is? Even Cambic. Cambic said, okay, so we have migrant students in the West Shore School District that came with no birth certificate. So how do we define their gender? Easy. Send them to a physical. Oh, an invasive physical. It's going to be invasive. The reaction that the kid's going to have. It's going to be detrimental to our kids. What, for a physical? They need a physical anyway. Okay. And if they're confused, have mom and dad take them into the bathroom, look down. That's all you need to do is look down. Now we all know where Trump stands on this, okay, because he's all about the alphabet jihad. Argot was having a cow also while we were there, and Mr. Gay, well, what can we say? We all know where he stands. Okay, so if you can get like a medical dictionary and bring it to the school board meeting and find the definition of a woman, that would be great. And even better yet, if you can bring a Bible, because the Bible makes it very clear that God created man and woman. So if you can bring a Bible to the school board meeting, anything that's going to shed some light to these people, anything that's going to give these people a clue, please feel free to bring along with you. So that being stated, guys, Tastos, if you're hearing me, and you probably are, or your minions are going to get the word to you. I don't care either way. Yes, Mrs. Reed just said again. Mrs. Reed just said again, aka the freaking Puerto Rican, because that's the name you guys gave me. Okay, that there is bullying, violence, and drugs at the West Shore School District. So this is Mariana signing out. Have a great rest of your weekend. Adios. Bye.